dandadan episode 11, now out. Let's talk about it. Okay, so the penultimate episode of season 1 of dandadan is now officially out for you guys to go and check out, which means we only have one episode left for season 1. But that's okay, because season 2 is coming next year, so we don't have to wait too long for it to return. So, what did I think of episode 11? Now, I have been loving dandadan the whole entire way up. I think they have been excellent. There's been some absolute 10 out of 10 episodes here that have been throughout the series. Episode 11. I don't think episode 11 reaches the heights of dandadan. I'm going to say it's a very, very good episode. It's nothing like out of, spectacular or anything like that. So, what I really enjoyed about this, obviously we know last week we get the new character, Gigi. He has been introduced. So this episode introduces us more into that character, shows us what his personality is alike, and the connection he has with Momo, and the reason why he is there. Now, what we find out is they were kids, and they were, first loves. They basically like that. And this whole entire time, Gigi still loves Momo, and you see that throughout this episode. He's sort of a guy who comes off as a cringe, tries to make women laugh because that's just who he is. That's the vibe I'm getting from Gigi right now. And obviously, he's there because he has an issue where he can see ghosts now. Now, one of the best moments of this episode was when he was detailing the experience with this ghost. The imagery and animation for that particular moment was fantastic, and it really gave you this haunting, terror image of a ghost coming up with those blue eyes of just pure terror that Gigi would be facing in that moment. So I thought they executed that really, really well, and just like I said, the imagery, the way that it was animated, it just nailed that atmospheric desire that you look for when you're looking for that sort of type of character moment for this person to see what dire situation that they're in. You feel that you're like, okay, I understand now. So he is now living there because all the other people who tried to exorcist this thing, 3 of them committed suicide and no one else wanted to go. The only one that they recommended was Granny. And we know that she can't use her powers, as she states in this episode, outside of the zone. So Momo has to go and do it herself. So that's the reason why he's here. Now, the big thing in this episode is obviously adding in Gigi into this sort of group. What happens is, now that we know that they're first loves, we know that Okura is now struggling and coming to terms with this, because now we know he loves Momo. He's in love with Momo. I don't care what anyone says. He's literally in love with Momo. And now what's going through his thought process is, what if she and him rekindle everything and that she actually likes him still? What happens if that happens? And this is where we get that moment of him coming to realization that if this happens, she gets introduced to his hobbies. She likes to do what he wants to do in that. And then Ogeron gets left behind, and now he has to deal with everything by himself, and he loses a friend. So he's already going through all this. So he's now making it his mission of okay, if I end it now and I just don't hang out with her or anything like that, then it's not going to be as bad as if I carry on and then I get my heart broken later on down the track. So that's what's going through Ogeron's mindset right now. So it's this really good character moment for him, trying to deal with another person coming in that he believes he can't compete with for Momo. And then obviously when he's training and Momo comes around and she's like, oh, I'm going to eat lunch with you. And we get this funny moment where she's like, do you want me to feed you while you get swirl? I love that moment. It was hilarious. And then obviously Gigi comes around and he's like, I got this yogurt thing. And Momo's like, oh, really? You do? And this is where Ogeron's like, okay. He looks at it and he's like, this is it. This is my chance. I have to leave. I can't deal with this. So he goes around the corner, and then this is where we get introduced to the thing. This mannequin, human body mannequin, comes running through. And he obviously has this golden ball. And when Momo goes to stop him, Gigi tackles him because obviously he doesn't know about all this stuff that they're able to do. And this is where she notices the golden ball, so they start chasing it. Okura transforms, which is freaking brilliant. I love it when that guy transforms. It looks so freaking cool when he transforms. I love it. So they're trying to stop this thing. And there's this moment where it like comes apart and then redoes itself again to escape Momo's grip, which was really, really cool to see. But Momo obviously had its heart. So she's punching this thing's heart and it's making noise and everything like that. So they find it. And this is where we figure out that this thing is after this other mannequin, this woman mannequin, and he loves her. And that's where this episode ends. It ends with them two there. So now, and obviously Okura has this moment where he's watching that, and as this person speaking to the woman mannequin and, you know, pouring out his heart and everything like that, like this is why, flashbacks start going through Okura's mind. And he's starting to think, oh, okay, this is how I feel with Momo and that. So I'm very interested to see where we're going to go with next episode now. What is going to be the deal with this? Like, obviously she doesn't have any arms and legs by the looks of it. Are they going to go on a quest to find that? Is that what they're going to do? I don't know. I obviously haven't read the manga yet. I don't know if I want to read the manga while the anime is going, or if I want to, you know, not read it and then read it after the anime's finished, so that I'm, you know, because I sort of want to be surprised, but I sort of don't. I want to know what's going to happen next. It's all crazy stuff. But like I said, this episode didn't have anything huge like episode 7 or anything like that, where you're like in tears and you're like, oh man, that backstory is so insane. Next week's episode could do that. Like, don't get me wrong. Next episode could be talking about this backstory with these two that could just rip our hearts out. But I mean, throwing GG into this dynamic is going to be interesting. The best thing about this episode is obviously the stuff with Okura and his character development again. And, you know, coming to the realization that, like, now there's another person that likes Momo. What's he going to do? And you got to remember, these are high school kids, basically. So and Okura's never really had anyone that he's like been this affection for or anything like that. So he doesn't know how to open up. And that's what I love about it, is it feels so real, because so many of us in that time period when we were teenagers and in high school and that, we struggled to, you know, get our feelings out in the air to tell the person that we really like. You've got to build up that courage to be able to do that, because you're scared that, oh, well, what if they don't feel it? What if this? What if that? So many things run through your mind. And I think what this anime does really, really well is it takes that realistic concept that we all have and executes it to a great, great level here in this show. And the animation's on point again. And so I'm excited to see where we're going to go. One more episode for season 1. So let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Did you guys enjoy it? Smash it down in the comment section below. Smash that like button. Click subscribe. And I'll see you guys next video. Until then, stay safe and peace out.